DR1 Racing presents the finals of the DHL Champion Series fueled by Mountain Dew, the premier drone racing series that combines elite pilots, epic locations, and adrenaline-filled races.
When you put your goggles on, the whole world becomes a video game. You get disconnected from the real world, and the only thing that's with you is your drone and your brain.
It's like I'm flying, I'm a superhero, I can do whatever I want in the sky. I feel free.
It's very Zen-like, kind of meditative, because you don't have time to think about anything but exactly what you're doing in that moment.
This course is crazy fun.
I've never flown anything like it.
The adrenaline you get by racing through a tight course that speeds up to 100 miles an hour is really thrilling.
When you fly and you see other drones in the air, it's like Star Wars.
My favorite part about this is the competition. That drives me to push harder and push harder and push harder.
It has been an epic journey. 5 drone races around the globe. It's only fitting that the championship goes down here in the heart of racing, the Isle of Man.
The rules of the championship are straightforward. Each race will see 2 teams go head-to-head, with 2 pilots flying their drones. The third team member will act as a spotter and manage the required pit stops for their teammates. The pit stop can take place on any lap.
So the purpose of the pit stop is simply a battery change. Our drones don't fly long enough to do the whole race on one battery. This is where you're gonna make or break a race.
Up until this competition, I don't think any of us really did pit stops.
Go! No, 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 no! Go!
This was a totally new thing for a lot of the people.
On each course, each pilot must complete a total of 4 laps without missing any gates.
The gates being used at DR1 are very different to what we're used to. We usually race through square gates. These are triangles, which means the area you have to fly through in the middle is much smaller than we used to.
You're looking at a triangle from half a mile away that looks very, very small. So you're going very fast, so you have to line it up just perfect because one small mistake, your quad is in a million pieces.
The winning pilot will earn 10 points for his team. Second place scores 8 points. It's 6 points for third and 3 points for fourth. If they fail to finish, they score 0 points.
This championship is all about points, so you will get no points if you crash, but you get points if you finish.
Doesn't matter if you're first or it doesn't matter if you're fourth. Not finishing is just so bad.
It's all about finishing, not crashing.
So let's meet the teams that are competing for the Dell Technologies $50,000 prize. First up, KDRA, one of the top teams in drone racing. 13-year-old racing prodigy Min Shan Kim, top-ranked Sean Taylor, and Brian Morris.
In the early days of FPV, I was the top dog. I was the Sean Taylor at that time.
Brian's strengths, I would say he has a ton of experience. He's very cool, he knows how to finish races, and he's very, very fast.
Min Shan is 100% reliable. We always put him last because we know we can count on him. He is so fast that if I help him realize that, hey, you're fast enough that if you just go down there and slow down just a little so you're really safe and comfortable, you're still gonna win, and we're gonna win.
What I bring to KDRA, I'm fast and I'm pretty consistent. I expect the unexpected.
Team Lumenier brings together the combined racing skills of Kane Madere, Colby Curtola, and Phil Freibot.
So Team Lumenier, I was brought on with my friend Kane, as well as Phil Freibot. Kane is just a beast. He's really fast, really consistent. Our whole team is generally consistent, I would say. We might not be the fastest team out there, but we're gonna push and we're gonna give teams a headache and we're gonna finish races. That's kind of our strategy and that's kind of our flying style.
Nexxblades are considered the team to beat. Their pilots are 17-year-old world champion Luke Bannister, Mac Poshwald, and Johnny Scher.
My team is Nexxblades. It's a team that I recently joined, actually. Some of my strengths as a pilot, just staying smooth on the sticks, on the controllers, staying calm under pressure, taking each race one at a time.
So Mac is super fast, one of the best racers I know, but also he's got the laser concentration. When he's zoned in, he's incredible.
Most of the other pilots on Nexxblades are confident pilots. It's just a team full of very experienced people.
You gotta be on top of your mental game because it's the pressure that makes people crack most of the time. Understanding your drones, being able to build them is also a key part because if you don't know how to repair them, you can't fly them.
Team Rebel comprises of Vince Irie, Michael Tseng, and Cooper Groves.
We're a relatively new team, and I think that was a benefit to us, like a blessing in disguise, simply because they didn't know what to expect.
Cooper's a very quiet kind of guy, and so we immediately clicked. And then Vince obviously is a little bit of a attention seeker, I think. I think that the thing that I pride myself on, and the thing that even has allowed me to get to this point in flying, is brutal honesty. And it's just about simply getting to the truth of the matter, like getting to what is good or what's not working.
And finally, Team Thunder Power, with Ricky Martinez, Bapu Madhu, and Chris Garza.
Team Thunder Power, Ricky is an awesome pilot. He's great at freestyle. He has his own track. Bapu is just a really consistent pilot, and he seems to have a good clutch in the end. He'll come and he'll just finish the races and get points. When I'm on it, I'm on it. I'm still growing.
The team started their championship series journey in the heat of the California desert at the extraordinary Trona Pinnacles. These pillars of rock shoot over 250 feet into the air. This course layout was wide and expansive, which allowed the team's drones to hit maximum speeds of over 100 miles per hour.
The Trona Pinnacles course was incredible to fly around. I've never flown a course that uses the natural area like that, and I've never been in a place that cool.
But would the 100-degree heat burn the drones up?
The heat was just insane. And with all the tech we have, that temperature just burns everything.
Nexxblades dominated the heats early on, but there was tension with Rebel over what Vince thought was unsportsmanlike behavior. And he had no problem confronting Nexxblades' top pilot, Luke Bannister.
You take off here, you land here. It's like you do it on purpose.
Did you have any issues with your video?
Yes, we did.
After showing promise, Thunder Power had a disappointing day with a series of frustrating crashes. KDRA, an early favorite for the series, made a costly mistake, misinterpreting their scoring and playing it too safe in their last heat. This opened it up for Lumenier to sneak into Trona's finals. In the first race in the finals, Mac crashed out early on. But Luke was both fast and consistent and took first. Both Kane and Phil finished, which gave Lumenier the point advantage. In the second race, Luke ran away with it again, but it was incredibly close for second place, with Johnny and Colby going head-to-head. They collided mid-air.
Oh no!
But both managed to stay in the sky, and Colby just nicked it, meaning it all came down to the final race. With everything to play for, the pressure got to Lumenier. Both pilots crashed out on the first lap.
Oh, I crashed too.
So all Nexxblades had to do was finish. But another technical issue downed Mac's quad.
No!
And Johnny alone won it for Nexxblades. As predicted, after the first race of the season, Nexxblades topped the table. For the seasonal standings, the winners got 5 points, the runners-up got 4 points, and then it's 3 for third, 2 for fourth, and 1 for fifth place. Race 2 of the DR1 Champion Series was at the Mojave Boneyard. Within a graveyard of ominous steel skeletons, the sport of the future rose from the ashes of aviation's past.
Going in and out of the airplanes, like where you enter through the tail section, you come out through that side door. It's not something that anybody gets to do. Amazing.
On the practice day, there was a massive sandstorm, and pilots were forced to scramble to rescue their equipment.
This crazy sandstorm came and just blasted all of our gear with tons and tons of dirt.
This put the pilots on edge, knowing that the weather would play a big part in this racing series. This should have been a strong course for KDRA, but Minchan struggled both on the air and in the pit. KDRA underperformed. Rebel was the surprise team in the final.
My boy right there! Woo!
Once again taking on the seemingly unstoppable Nexxblades. In the first race of the finals, Vince and Luke were in pit. Mac and Johnny crashed out, and so did Cooper, leaving Michael to win 10 points for Rebel.
Bro, killed it!
In the second race of the finals, things got heated again between Vince and Luke. From takeoff, Vince had video issues and refused to go past the start gate, creating his own unsportsmanlike conduct.
I can't fly.
See what you can do.
No, I can't.
Shut up, please, shut up, please, shut up, please.
Mike had a clear lead, but Vince's emotional display was too distracting, and he crashed.
Like Vince?
Cooper and Luke also both crashed out, leaving Mac to bring in 10 points for Nexxblades, and Mike to vent his frustrations to Vince.
Yeah, but it's so bad that I can't fly.
You gotta just not talk, dude.
With the points even, there was everything to race for. Johnny took the lead with Cooper right on his tail. That is, until he crashed out. Vince couldn't get past Johnny and Luke, and so Nexxblades took the Boneyard win.
It's another day at the office.
Another win for Nexxblades, which brought their season tally to 10 points, 3 ahead of second place Lumenier. What makes this series unique is that it's a team competition flown outdoors.
Individual racing is it's fun, but being with a team, it adds a whole nother level of stress because it's even more of a mind game. You're not only going to let yourself down, but you're letting down your friends.
Now we have a team racing format in DR1, which it did increase, I guess, the physicality of drone racing with pit stops and running to the drones, but it's more mentally grueling. Sitting there, staying calm under pressure, it is very mentally intensive.
Join us after the break as we recap the action from races 3 to 5 of DR1 Racing's DHL Champion Series, fueled by Mountain Dew.
Oh, he murdered me!
Welcome back to the finals of DR1 Racing's DHL Champion Series, fueled by Mountain Dew.
Oh, Min-chan! Min-chan, no!
The Isle of Man is our iconic and historic backdrop for the championship finals. This series sees pilots racing their drones at speeds over 100 miles per hour. To do this has meant bringing together the latest in cutting-edge technology. Let's find out how the pilots have been powering their way around the courses so far.
FPV allows you to basically become the drone.
So these are the first-person view goggles that all the pilots wear when they're flying.
The camera on the front of the drone feeds a video signal back to these goggles, and inside there's 2 video screens.
You can see the rock that we're going through and the gate that we're trying to hit, and you can see the other traffic as we're battling it out, and that allows you to see the race.
So the controller that we use is a Tyrannus. We actually have 4 dimensions to work with. You have throttle, right? So that's like putting your foot on the gas pedal, right? You have yaw, which would be like if you were to like turn the quad like this. You have roll, which is like turning like this. And then you obviously have pitch. So it's like forward and backwards.
In DR1, the teams have designed custom drones to compete at speed on longer courses.
This is my racing drone. It has my own design frame. I call it the Skinny Kid, after myself.
Got a really nice canopy on it, which helps with airflow over the arms and body for aerodynamics.
The Rebel Ruckus frame, it's very light and very skinny, which helps reduce drag.
We decided to go with the 6-inch arms versus the 5-inch because it would be better efficiency-wise and speed-wise.
It's got a hard shell canopy that came in handy on many of these crashes that I had during the series.
I was going to manufacturers and say, hey, I need a 6-inch prop that does this, or a 5.5-inch prop that does this. I need motors that do this. It was all new territory. It's all not proven.
I really like what DR1 did this year, driving innovation with the 5 to 6 cell setups.
I think this is really bringing the sport forward because now we're able to fly faster and longer.
It's going to be able to handle higher and higher voltage outputs, faster speeds.
So our team is using a 6-cell battery. Most other teams are using 5, so 6 gives us a little bit of an edge.
Most of us have never even flown this much power before. The first time we started flying these things, it was like, holy moly, you gotta hold on to your seat because these things move. We're pushing the limits to do the most extreme racing we've ever seen.
Traveling to Europe, Race 3 offered an epic new challenge, diving over the top of the Post Tower in Bonn, Germany. The track combined flying over water with a climb over a mammoth 533-foot skyscraper, then a full throttle dive to the bottom in pursuit of drone racing glory.
That course just left me in awe. You're climbing, 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 turn over and you see the city. It's amazing.
DHL Tower was my first building dive. So scary, and then it was really fun.
The race also brought in 2 new pilots to the series, Corey Ibanez, who replaced Phil Freibot for Lumenier, and Gary Kent for Nexxblades, who replaced Luke Bannister, who had to return to school.
Knowing that the guys had won the first 2 rounds, it was pretty daunting to come in and take over from Luke.
Go. That's it.
Without Luke, Nexxblades did not have a great day.
Go, man.
The new team structure wasn't gelling, and they failed to make the finals for the first time. Thunder Power showed signs of improvement, but ultimately still failed to crack the upper ranks.
Punch it, punch it, punch it, punch it, punch it, punch it!
Yeah!
KDRA, meanwhile, had a tactical breakthrough. After a mid-air collision between Sean and Min-chan that wiped both of them out.
Oh, Min-chan! Min-chan, no!
It was decided Brian and Sean would pull back and allow Min-chan to race from the front.
Beautiful.
This helped KDRA turn the disappointments of Trona and the Boneyard around to get into the finals for the first time.
I'm about to get emotional, and I'm gonna just bring everybody in here.
Oh my, let's get it for a big hug. I haven't been in a final. Guys, I'm in the middle of this right now. This is happening.
Their opponents were the red-hot Rebel team, who put their disagreements from race 2 behind them to make it to their second finals in a row.
That's my boys!
In the first race, Sean set a course record despite another bad pit and easily won the race. In the second race, KDRA put Minchan in front with Sean in the pit. Minchan blistered to the front, but a tech issue caused him to crash.
Oh my God! Okay.
Cooper knew he had the race in the bag.
Good job.
The final race was spectacular. Minchan was out front again, but had a technical issue in mid-fall. He somehow recovered, and with Cooper and Mike crashing, KDRA took first and second.
Give me a hug, Minchan. I know you're not a hugger. I know. I know. Bring it in. Bring it in. Ah!
3 races in for the DHL Champions Series, fueled by Mountain Dew, and although Nexxblades won the first 2, KDRA and Rebel were closing in on seasonal points. Heading to Spike Island in Ireland, this former 6th century monastery within a 24-acre fortress provided an atmospheric backdrop for the 4th race of the series. The racetrack here was all about speed as the pilots flew over some eerie abandoned structures.
Spike Island, we get there, it's freezing, it's windy. It wasn't very technically demanding. For the most part, it was high speed, very fast.
Being on an island meant the pilots were fully exposed to the harsh weather. Practice day was cut short when a serious storm blew in.
Everyone was panicking. We have 20 minutes to pack all of our bags because if we don't get on the last ferry, we're staying on Spike Island for the night. And Spike Island's a prison and none of us really wanted to spend the night there.
The rainy and windy weather continued into race day, creating some very difficult flying conditions. Despite winning the first heat, Nexxblades went on to have a terrible run, with both pilots crashing out frequently.
The wind is pushing us into it.
This handed the advantage to Lumenier. KDRA were now the hot team and were dominant throughout, with Sean crashing out just once and the pilots taking 1-2 in every other heat. But it was a different story in the finals, when KDRA and Lumenier went head-to-head. In the first race, Lumenier took first blood with the 1-2 after Sean crashed out.
Oh, video. Whoa, video. Oh, man.
After a break for bad weather, the second race of the final saw Sean crash after a mid-air with Colby.
What? I don't know what I hit.
So Lumenier were in control heading into the final race and knew they just needed to take it easy and finish. Brian and Minchan had a great race for KDRA, taking 1-2, but Lumenier took the race by just 1 point. This result still gave KDRA 4 points, which tied them with Nexxblades on seasonal points. Lumenier's win moved them above Rebel into 3rd. With the teams so close in seasonal points, let's recap the pivotal 5th and penultimate race of the championship. The Pirate Queen Grace O'Malley called it her home. The Vikings fought and died on her beaches, and the British Army built a tower within her walls. But in DR1, Bunowen Castle in Ireland tested the limits of the top 5 drone racing teams in the world. Having caught up with Nexxblades for the first time in the championship, disaster struck for KDRA on practice day when Sean Taylor had an accident on the beach.
When I slipped, I heard a loud pop, and I already knew it was bad. It was excruciating. The adrenaline kicked in really soon, but I knew it was a devastating injury.
He suffered severe ligament damage to his knee, and he was airlifted to the hospital.
Sean Taylor definitely brings a great energy to racing. I definitely saw a dramatic change, I think, in tone when he left. I think that we all missed him very much. Great loss to the event.
KDRA managed to draft a pilot in to replace Sean for the next day's racing. 16-year-old Harry Plested had never flown with his teammates before. He burnt through quads in practice and crashed out in his first 2 races. The Nexxblades were once again struggling, with their pilots crashing out regularly.
I'm taken down.
And pit stop tensions rose once more.
Why is he landing here?
With Brian and Gary squaring up to each other this time.
What is this? Really?
You landed in my area, and my pilots are flying. I understand.
But you don't throw people's stuff,
you're
man.
right.
You don't throw their gear.
You're right.
Rebel remained very consistent and made it back to the finals. And against all odds, KDRA joined them after some standout flying from Mann. In the initial finals race, Cooper took first, but Harry pulled out his best performance of the race to take second, with Brian in third. Vince came in fourth. In the second finals race, Mann was so fast he lapped his opponents on lap 4. Mann was becoming unbeatable. Brian and Vince were neck and neck, but a mid-air took Vince out.
Oh, he mid-aired me!
And that cost them.
That's the only way you're gonna win.
Rebel needed a 1-2 in the last final to win, but Cooper and Michael both crashed out in lap 2, leaving Harry and Mann to bring home the win for KDRA. With the victory, KDRA secured the top spot in the seasonal standings. This meant they would get a crucial automatic bye to the Championship Series finals. After the break, the teams compete for the chance to take on KDRA in the finals.
I can't see!
Welcome back to the finals of DR1 Racing's DHL Champions Series, fueled by Mountain Dew.
Wait, no!
We are about to see the teams battle for the chance to compete in the finals. For this championship decider, the pilots have traveled to the backyard of the world's most dangerous race on the Isle of Man.
Here at the Isle of Man, we have set up our triangle gates all along the road course, but the huge challenge for our pilots is going to be this massive dive down the edge of this cliff as they thread the needle through the rock archway, waiting for them at the bottom.
These pilots will risk everything as they dive off a cliff to grab victory from the ocean below. Let's see the course the teams are about to race in the Mountain Dew fly-through.
We are in Isle of Man, home of TT Racing.
It's amazing to be here, especially to be on a section of the course itself.
As soon as you take off, you're heading to gate 1. It's the furthest gate out. Then you approach gate 2, so you need to make sure that you've taken your line correctly.
Gate 3, it's a straight line again, but once you go over it, you just have to do a little bump up.
So it's very important just to create a perfect line between gate 3, 4, and 5.
So gate 6 and 7 is a power loop, or a loop-to-loop, or a corkscrew, or whatever you want to call it, and it's one of the hardest parts of the track.
After you cross the start-finish line, now the fun part starts. You go full throttle, diving, I think it's like 50 meters at least.
The dive is epic, it's insane. You go down full speed, you hit that arch, avoid the water. It's pretty awesome. High-speed track, deep dive, full throttle, let's go.
The format for the Champions Series finals is different from the early races. After race 5, the team with the most seasonal points wins an automatic place in the final round. These finals follow a knockout format with a best-of-3 component to each round. First, there are 2 knockout rounds. The 3rd and 4th place teams, and then the 2nd and 5th place teams face off. The winner of each of these rounds go into a semifinal head-to-head for the chance to take on KDRA in the finals. For the first elimination race, Lumenier, who came 4th in seasonal standings, took on 3rd-placed Rebel. Lumenier had Kane and Colby on the sticks with Corey and Pitt, and for Rebel, Vince was pitting with Cooper and Michael racing. Rebel started well with Michael taking an early lead. Controversially, Kane missed the start-finish gate on 2 different occasions. After some blazing fast laps, Michael brought it home in first, with Kane frustratingly come in second.
Hey, Kane didn't take the start gate on his last lap.
On review, the judges disqualified Kane for his incomplete laps.
That's 0 points.
Finish lap.
Okay.
Race 2, here we go.
We'll move on.
So after this race, Kane's DQ means that Rebel put maximum points on the board. In the second heat, we have Kane and Corey for Lumenier, and Michael and Vince were up for Rebel, with Colby and Cooper in the pit. Michael once again took an early lead. He was powering around the course. But unbelievably, he missed gate 7 completely. Michael and Vince had a near mid-air.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Michael kept it together to come in first place. But the judges disqualified him for the missing gate.
I didn't go through the pin. Just like Kane, oops.
So in a complete reversal to the first heats, it's Lumenier who takes maximum points, with Corey coming in second, but taking 10 points after Michael's DQ. With points even, there was everything to play for as Corey and Colby took on Vince and Cooper, with Kane and Michael in pit. It was neck and neck, with Corey and Cooper battling for first place. Vince, meanwhile, crashed out.
I can't see!
Some lens issues there. Cooper brought his quad back in first place, but with Vince out and Corey and Colby finishing, this meant Rebel were eliminated. With only 4 points separating them, it was Lumenier who defied the speed of the Rebel pilots to make it through to the next round.
It came down to Vince and Cooper. Cooper, you're able to finish. Vince, it looked like you just had issues with the lens on your camera.
What happened was I clipped the start. I clipped against one of those fences because I knew we had to push it and I just wanted to start up in front and I just clipped it and my camera got blurry.
I'm just a little frustrated with how things turned out. Both me and Mike were faster than every single one of their teammates, so it's a bit frustrating we didn't win where we probably should have.
So obviously it wasn't exactly how we planned it to go. Granted, we did win, so we're moving on.
For the next elimination round, it's second place Nexxblades versus fifth place Thunderpower. First up, it was Gary and Mac for Nexxblades, racing against Bapu and Garza for Thunderpower. Mac and Gary got off to a great start, Thunderpower playing catch-up. Bapu struggled with his lines.
What the?
Garza unfortunately crashed out on his second lap. There was no way Bapu was going to catch Mac and Gary, and they brought it home for a 1-2 finish for Nexxblades, with Bapu bringing in 6 points for his team. It's going to be a tough ask for Thunderpower's pilots Ricky and Garza to catch Nexxblades, whose pilots Johnny and Gary were in top form. Things didn't start well for Thunderpower as Garza missed the first 2 gates, cutting the course early and starting at gate 3.
Green, go back! You're not doing it right!
What do you mean?
And Ricky crashed out due to a problem with his gimbal.
Oh, the radio's off. The gimbal. Rocking the gimbal, man.
There was some tight back and forth action between Gary and Garza, especially around the double gates. Gary came in first, and Garza came in second. But his fast flying counted for nothing as he was disqualified for missing those early gates. This meant the series was over for Thunderpower, and Nexxblades were progressing to take on Lumenier in the semifinal. Coming into the semifinal, the team's seasonal form no longer counts. In the Isle of Man, against an iconic racing backdrop, 3 heats separate one team from the championship finals. In the first race of these Isle of Man semifinals, we have Mac and Gary for Nexxblades and Kane and Colby representing Lumenier, with Johnny and Corey in the pit. Gary screams off the blocks. The whole shot, he's way out in front, it's full throttle. Gary misses the first gate. Luckily, it's his teammate Mac who's there to overtake him.
Oh my God, that wind is crazy over there.
Wind is causing problems, so we have Mac out in front as we come down the track. Gary's regrouping, he's back in second. At the same time, the wind is causing problems for both Colby and Kane. These gusts are making it hard to gauge the gap in the triangles. But it does not seem to be affecting Nexxblades. Mac and Gary are racing ahead in first and second place clean.
Oh, this wind.
Colby continuing to struggle with that wind. He's going to have to take that double gate again. Matt crosses the finish gate in first place. Gary's second for a 1-2 for Nexxblades. But Lumenier both finish, and those points are valuable. So Nexxblades have a healthy 9-point lead going into the second semifinal heat. Next up are Corey and Kane for Lumenier, and Gary and Johnny for Nexxblades, with Colby and Mac in the pit. Oh, a rough start for Johnny and Gary. Gary misses his lines on the first gate. And Johnny, well, he's struggling on the second gate. Gary's so fast it's not having too much of an impact. He is screaming out in front. Johnny coming up to gate 5. He's having line issues again. This is gonna cost him. He has fallen all the way back to 4th place. Gary's in the pit and Johnny's coming into the double gates. Johnny clips the gate. That looked like a wind gust. Well, he's still up. He looks like he's still gonna be able to make it to his pit stop.
Kane, go!
Kane is back in the air for his 3rd lap. Huge dive through the rock gate. Beautiful. Gary's in 2nd. He's coming up behind Corey and overtaking him, and that is it for Corey. He crashes out here at the gate. Gary's pressure seems to have gotten the better of him. Back in front, Gary is storming through, takes a more lateral loop, and nails the double gate section. And Gary takes the win. Kane finishes a clean race in 2nd, and Johnny finishes in 3rd. So after 2 races, Nexxblades have a big advantage with 34 points. Lumenier are not out just yet. They have 17. For the last semifinal heat for Nexxblades, it's Mac and Johnny, and for Lumenier, it's Colby and Corey. Gary and Kane handle the pit. For any chance to win, Lumenier needs both Nexxblades pilots to crash out. It's a long shot. Johnny is up and out in first place. Mac is 3rd coming into the first gate. Oh, he crashes into it.
Johnny, I'm out.
Now looking at that again, you could see the wind push him sideways right as he entered the gate. That surely hands advantage to Lumenier. Johnny is in 3rd, but he's pushing hard. Overtakes Colby just before the 5th gate. Corey has to pull out coming into the double gate, and Johnny passes him. Johnny pits. Colby starts lap 2, he's in the lead. Lumenier in 1st and 2nd on his lap. Corey pits on lap 3.
Wait, no.
Oh, he calls the quad back.
Go!
Oh, that slow pit is going to allow Johnny to take back the lead. And it looks like he will win this, and Nexxblades can breathe easier. They are in the finals. Nexxblades won the semifinals with an impressive 44 to Lumenier's 31.
Colby, how you feeling?
I'm okay with it. We flew great in that last race. I saw Matt go down, and then Corey and I were putting some pressure on Johnny. We caught up to him. It was a great race, and we're going to hold our heads up high.
Johnny, bringing it in for the win. How's it feel, man?
Incredible. We're off to the finals. Thank goodness. Felt really good that last race, and we're going to give it our best shot.
Coming up after the break, who will be crowned winners of DR1 Racing's DHL Champion Series, fueled by Mountain Dew. Welcome back. The teams have traveled the world racing against the elements, pushing the sport to its limits. Now they're here in the Isle of Man to decide who wins the championship.
It is D-Day, this is finals, and Nexxblades, you guys have completely and totally earned your way here today at the Isle of Man. Johnny, what's going on in your mind?
I mean, we fought all season to get here. Extremely pleased with all of our performances. We're going to give KDRA a fight, see if we can come out on top. Just give it our best.
What's the strategy to make sure you guys don't clip gates and keep the drones in the air?
It's better to correct the gate rather than take a race course. I mean, this win is unpredictable, so just make sure you're going to get the gates.
KDRA are bringing in a new pilot just for this race. Dutchman Andre Krasny will replace the injured Sean Taylor.
Team KDRA, you guys have been leading the whole season, #1 spot for seasonal points, and now you guys are here in the finals. Isle of Man. Min Chan, how do you feel you'll do up against this wind?
I'm so excited because we have a new pilot and course is really fun. I think we'll be good.
Andre stepping in at the last minute to help KDRA win the finals, hopefully. Andre, what's going on through your mind?
It's awesome. Guys did awesome job. So I'm in a privileged position. We have Dutch weather. That's typical Dutch weather. So I'm home, man. I'm home. It's good.
Now, I know, unfortunately, Sean Taylor couldn't be here, but if he was here, what do you think he'd have to say?
He just wants us to stay sharp out there, put in our best race. So we're just gonna go leave nothing on the line. We'll leave it all on the track.
This is it. It all comes down to this. Two teams battling it out. KDRA versus Team Nexxblades. And only one will come out on top as the winners of the DHL Champion Series, fueled by Mountain Dew.
So in Heat 1 of the finals, we have Andre and Brian for KDRA, Minchan in the pit, and Gary and Mac for Nexxblades with Johnny in the pit. And it's a great start there from Mac and Gary, heading away for Nexxblades. But as they come up to the turn, Brian is right on their tails. It's Gary on the lead in the turn going into gate 1. He's a bit slow there, and Brian has taken the lead. Very close going into gate 2. They come to gate 3, Mac is chasing hard. All 4 drones are extremely close together. Brian still leads coming into the double gate. Mac's third. Oh, lovely double gate by Mac, and he's taken the lead. Gary just behind in second. Gary comes into pit. And Brian's taken the lead coming into first gate. And there he is. Mac's still hot on his tail there. Oh no, Mac is out. He has crashed out. The wind just pushing him into the right-hand side of that gate there. That's a bad start for Nexxblades. Brian now has a healthy lead coming into the double gates. Bit high and wide there. Going a bit slow, but no problem. No problem. Here he comes, finishing his second lap, and he starts his third. Coming through that rock formation gate. Gary's third, pushing hard. Now Mac is out. He needs to get maximum points. As Andre pits. Brian struggling with the first gate there. He makes it through safely. Andre just finishing off his pit there. And Gary comes through into second place.
Okay, and you go!
Andre just heading out now. This is his first competitive race in the whole series, and he's doing a good job so far. Brian coming in to complete his third lap, and he'll be pitting now. Needs a good pit here to get ahead. Doesn't land very well. Here's Gary now coming through the double gates. No problem there. And he's starting his fourth lap, and he's taken the lead. Brian is still in the pits, so Gary now leads. Brian's still in the pits there.
Okay, Brian.
And he's just heading off now. So Brian back in the race. All Brian and Andre have to do is finish behind Gary to get some points on the board. And here's Gary now. Last double gates. Very smooth, very quick. And he takes the win. Now, all Brian and Andre have to do is finish. Oh no, Brian has crashed out coming into gate 3.
I got blown.
Quiet.
Just finish.
Andre needs to finish now to take 8 points. Needs to take it slowly. Disaster for KDRA there. They would have had a huge advantage going into Heat 2. Andre brings it home in second place. Nexxblades would have been hoping for a 1-2 there to give them a good chance going into the next 2 heats. Minchan is yet to fly, but unfortunately, they only get the 10 points with KDRA getting 8. So in the second heat, Minchan joins Brian in the hot seat with Andre in the pits. And Johnny now partners Mac with Gary in the pit. And it's a very good start for Minchan, straight off the block and into an early lead. He's taking no prisoners in this race. Mac is lagging behind in 4th at the minute. Minchan is already through the first gate. He's pushing away. Mac, struggling with the win there. A very near miss. Minchan with a healthy lead now ahead of Johnny. Oh, so beautiful from Minchan. Very smooth, such good technique. He's on his second lap coming through the rock gate. Johnny comes to pit now. He's in second place. They need a good pit here, Nexxblades. Through gates 1 and 2. Nice line. KDRA preparing for their pit stop. Minchan already coming through to the double gates to finish his second lap.
You're good to go, John.
Johnny heads back into the race. He's in 4th place out of the pits. Min Chan now pits from first. Quick pit from here will see him take the win. Brian currently in second place. It's going well. Mac is still struggling with the wind a little bit. Oh, he clips another gate. Oh, he's all over the place here in this race. He manages to survive and get back on it. That's the main thing. And Min Chan is off, starting lap 3. And he's in second now. Brian coming up to the first gate. He has the lead, but ooh, almost collides with Min Chan. Could have been a disaster. Min Chan now leading. Brian second. Mac is in the pit at the minute as Min Chan comes through the double gates to compete his penultimate lap.
You're good to go.
Mac takes off. Here comes Min Chan, and he swoops past Mac, lapping him in the process. Unbelievable. Brian's second here now, coming in for his pit. Nice crash landing there. Johnny's starting his final lap, and he's moved into second place ahead of Brian. Min Chan is absolutely storming it. Look at this technique going into those double gates. Beautiful, best by far of any of the pilots on those. And he takes victory. As he comes into land, Brian is just leaving for his final lap. Unbelievable. And Mac again clipping the gate. He's only starting his last lap now. And now Johnny is struggling with the win. It's been a tough race for Nexxblades in this one. Johnny takes second to be safe. It is Mac in fourth place. He's quite far behind now.
Go safe.
Some good advice there from Min Chan for Brian, as in the last race he crashed out when he should have taken it easy. He takes third. Good effort there from the KDRA boys. And Mac in a long distance fourth. That's every pilot finishing, and that's all that counts. With those 16 points, KDRA now take a 3-point lead going into the final heat. Join us after the break as the teams race for the final time in their bid to win the championship. Don't miss it.
Hey!
Welcome back to the final race of DR1 Racing's DHL Champion Series, fueled by Mountain Dew.
In order for Nexxblades to secure this win, they must complete a first and third or a first and second position finish. That means they have to beat Min Chan. Min Chan is the one to watch here, folks. Let's find out what happens.
So in the final heat, we have Gary and Johnny for Nexxblades up against Andre and Min Chan for KDRA, with Mac and Brian in the pits. Min Chan off to a great start, leading very early on again. Gary's actually close behind him, and Gary now has the lead. No, Min Chan gets ahead of him, going into gate 2. Doesn't exit that gate very well, and Gary now has the lead. Very close between those two going into the 5th gate.
Ready for you, Gary.
Coming into the double gates now, Gary in the lead. Min Chan, great double move there, and he takes the lead. Oh, like butter. Candidate for move of the day, possibly. Now Min Chan coming through the rock gate as Gary pits. Johnny in a close second, actually. He's not too far behind. Gary's pit going well. Andre now into third. He's going much faster in this race than he did in the previous one. And Gary is back in the race. Here comes Min Chan coming through the double gates. Oh, so smooth. No wasted movement, just beautiful. Now he's gonna pit at the start of lap 3.
Ready for you, Johnny.
Nexxblades trying to fight back, and Gary's absolutely flying in 4th place, catching Andre. And he takes him going into gate 5. Great move from behind. Andre did not see it coming. That's on the spotter.
Go!
Gary starting his 3rd lap, gets ahead of Min Chan. Gary now leads. Min Chan second, unexpected. Coming through the rock gate, Johnny is 3rd. It is very close here between Gary and Min Chan. Gary's fighting hard. First at the minute, he's gone ahead of Min Chan. Unbelievable, he is flying. Min Chan, though, is not too far behind, catching all the time as they come up to the double gates. Gary needs a good one here. Yes, not too bad. Johnny creeping up on Andre and goes flying past him to 3rd place. Andre still has to pit though. He's been lapped a couple of times now. Johnny comes through and starts his 4th and final lap. Min Chan has got ahead of Gary on the climb. Going through gate 1, Gary's struggling, and he's hit gate 2.
No, I'm down.
Oh, he is out. Disaster for Nexxblades. Could be all over now. Min-Chan brings it home beautifully for first place. That last lap was a record-breaking 26 seconds. That is 3 seconds faster than any of the other pilots.
You need to just finish.
I know, buddy.
Now all Andre has to do is finish, and KDRA are champions. Johnny brings it in for second place. 8 points, but it may not be enough. And Andre's still in the pit. He's just leaving now. All he has to do is coast it home from here. Min-Chan and Brian very pleased with their day's work. Gary and Johnny are dejected. And here's Andre finishing off his lap in third place to claim victory for KDRA. KDRA wins the championship series by 11 points. It's an unbelievable achievement for the team that struggled in the early races of the series. And then after clawing their way back into contention, they suffered the loss of their teammate Sean Taylor. These last few races were certainly driven by emotion and stellar piloting by racing prodigy 13-year-old Min-Chan Kim.
It has been a crazy, epic journey leading up to today here at the Isle of Man.
Oh man, the first races started out rough. I think we took a couple thirds. Got here, had to change a couple guys. We're worried about getting Sean Taylor's shoes filled. And actually, last night we're running the numbers. We're looking at what they're running, what we're running, and we're saying this is over. Like, we are not going to be able to compete. But we had some strategy, and wow, it came together in the end.
What was going through your mind as you're coming through the finals?
It was great, but I really scared because I changed the goggle and ESC and controller, so I can't believe it, I'm first.
Andre stepping into the last minute, I'm sure the pressure was crazy. What was that like?
I had to learn all of it on the spot, and I had great support from the team. Min-Chan was absolutely killing it as well. Yeah, it worked out in the end. I'm super happy.
If Sean Taylor was here, what do you think he'd say?
He'd be super excited. This win was 100% for him. I know he's hurting back home with his knee, and hopefully this will make his day a little bit brighter.
Our judges decided that the air hog's move of the race was Min-Chan's unbelievable corkscrew at the double gates, where he overtook Gary for the lead in the race, and ultimately for the championship win. Min-Chan's technique in this move was out of this world. Let's rejoin Team KDRA as they are awarded the Dell Technologies $50,000 grand prize.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the DHL Champion Series, fueled by Mountain Dew, Team KDRA!
Congratulations to KDRA and all of the teams in this year's Champion Series. Stay tuned to DR1 Racing Online for the next exciting season of drone racing. From the Isle of Man and from Tommy Tabahia, this is me, Josh Dean, signing out.
You take off here, you land here.
Did you have any issues with your video?
That's my boys!
Bring it in, bring it in. What is this?
You don't.
It's,
You're
stuff, man.
Oh, he mad at me.